everyone, and welcome back to You Know Who. I'm your host, the reviewer. And with me, as always, is my cameraman, Jamie. Jamie, what do you think of the Patreon system so far?
Well, it's a bit like eSpace, except there are no annoying mathematicians here to hate.
Well, quite. Now, we're here because we've received a distress call from my old comrade in arms, the Time Lord Zenith. Jamie, would you replay that distress call?
Dear reviewer, here in the Patreon zone, we love your work. However, there's nothing more enticing to us than knowledge. Has there ever been a Doctor Who episode that took place in a center for learning, and if we donate to your Patreon fund, will you review it? Please say yes.
I was led to believe that video would be more charismatic and entertaining. Oh, well, and for those wondering, my Patreon fund is a charitable scholarship I set up so young patrons could receive an education in British science fiction television. And yes, Edith, there is an episode, 2 in fact, that deal with knowledge. A library! In fact, the largest library in existence. And given that I've yet to review The Husbands of River Song, it could be more appropriate to review this story, which features a goodbye with a touch of hello. This is my review of Silence in the Library and Forest of the Dead.
A little girl is in a library, literally flying through it. She explains to a Dr. Moon that whenever she closes her eyes, she's inside her infinite library. But someone's knocking on the doors. The library is in her mind. There shouldn't be anyone else in there. The 10th Doctor and Donna Noble burst in and quickly seal the doors behind them. They turn, see her, and the Doctor asks if it's okay if they stay there, shocking the girl. We flash back and find out that the Doctor has taken them to the 51st century. The library, an entire planet covered in books. Its core hollowed out to host the Index, a giant reference computer. They're on the biographies continent, but he forbids Donna from reading anything from her future. There are some things she shouldn't know. The Doctor realizes that the library is silent. There's no one here. A computer scan shows only 2 humanoid life forms, but if he scans for non-humanoid life, there's over 1 million entities.
I hate it when shows make up numbers. A million? What is that? It's not like a real scientific term like a gajillion or a whole lotta. What gives?
Donna says there are only books here, and books can't be alive, can they? Well, no, but they do hear someone say welcome. It's a human face on some sort of modern art installation. It's a courtesy note, and it's repeating a message from the head librarian. Run. Nowhere in the library is safe. There is a second message. If they want to live, they need to remember to count the shadows. The Doctor admits the reason they came here was that he received a message through his psychic paper. As lights start going out, they run and come to a locked door, but the Sonic doesn't do wood. You should get an app for that.
Spoilers, Jamie. After all, closing time is a long way off.
Spoilers, reviewer. River hasn't even used that catchphrase yet.
Touché, Jamie.
Donna kicks the door open, and isn't this where we came in? The girl wakes up, and a wooden sphere shuts its lens and drops to the floor. A security camera. The girl's then overwhelmed by the sound of the sonic screwdriver. At the same time, we see the Doctor examining the camera. He gets it to open, and the girl collapses. She begs him to stop, and we see an LED readout repeating her words. He realizes it's alive. The girl tells her father and Dr. Moon that the library is breached. Others are coming. Donna asks why the nodes have faces, and it's explained that the face is real, donated upon death. It freaks her out a bit, and the Doctor stops her from walking into a shadow. The problem is he's not sure what's casting it. He sees a flickering light. There shouldn't be any power outages here, and when they look back, the shadow is gone. Except the Doctor realizes not gone, it moved. The note reminds them that others are coming when the doors blow open and several astronauts walk in. A woman clears her visor, walks up to the Doctor, and says, "Hello, sweetie." The Doctor tries to get them to leave. They don't. It's an expedition headed up by Professor River Song. He meets Anita, Dave, and other Dave. It's other Dave who notes that the way back is now much darker than before. This expedition is funded by Mr. Lux, who, along with his assistant Evangelista, tries to get the Doctor and Donna under contract. His family built the library, but it's now been silent for 100 years. The doctor explains that all species have an irrational fear of the dark, except it's not irrational. It's the Vashta Narada. They set up a ring of lights around their workspace, and River calls over the pretty boy for help. It takes the doctor a moment to realize she's talking to him. She pulls out a blue gridded diary and starts reading off events to him, but nothing's ringing a bell. It finally hits her. The doctor doesn't know who she is. Simultaneously, a phone begins ringing in the library and the girl's house. The little girl doesn't understand why her dad won't pick up the phone, but he says it isn't ringing. I don't understand why that boom mic was in the shot.
It's so hard to find good help these days. Straighten that camera out!
Oh, sorry.
One more mistake like that, Jamie, and it's back to the Spice Mines of Kessel for you.
Wrong franchise.
Oh, sorry.
The doctor hacks the computer. He and the crew appear on the little girl's TV. She recognizes them from her dream, but then the picture returns to her cartoons. The doctor reaches for River's diary, but she stops him. It's against his rules to see inside. The little girl begins channel surfing looking for the doctor. When she can't find him, she starts hitting other buttons on the remote, which causes books to go flying in the library. Evangelista gets upset and Donna tries to calm her down, but she admits that she knows she isn't very smart, which isn't helpful at this time. Mr. Lux won't reveal the library's secrets because the doctor, Donna, and River didn't sign their confidentiality contracts. All he'll say is that on the day the library went silent, a message saying the lights were shutting down went out, and then nothing. The little girl hits a button and a secret door opens, but only Evangelista notices. There was also a secret message. 4,022 saved. The exact number of people in the library when it went dark. Evangelista heads through the door and into a room with a large blue chair. A moment later, they hear her screams. But now there's a perfectly preserved skeleton in the chair. They page Evangelista, but her transmitter's on the skeleton. They hear her voice, and River explains that she's ghosting. The circuits in her suit hold an impression of the user's mind. As the lights wear down, the data ghost fades away. She asks for the nice woman, Donna. She asks Donna not to tell the others that she feels stupid, and Donna promises, but Evangelista just begins repeating this as the pattern degrades before shutting down, leaving Donna very shaken. The doctor asks for some lunch. He also wants to know who River is, but she won't tell him. Spoilers. She does give him some chicken. Dr. Moon sits down with the little girl. He explains that there's the real world and the world of nightmares. But the nightmares are real. There are people trapped in the library, and only she can save them. River admits to Donna that she knows the doctor, but by his reckoning, this is their first meeting. The SOS she sent out arrived too early in his timeline. Donna wants to know why River doesn't recognize her. Where is she in the future? The doctor interrupts them. He's found a Vashta Narada. They're an airborne microscopic predator. They strip that chicken to the bone as soon as it enters their shadow colony. To have a population as large as the one in the library is unheard of. They decide to teleport out when the doctor stops Dave. He has 2 shadows. They seal him and the rest of the crew in their suits. River shocks the doctor by busting out her own sonic screwdriver, which they use to toughen the suits and hopefully make them harder to digest. The doctor has Donna stand on a teleport pad. The TARDIS won't recognize the others, but he can send her into his ship. She protests, but he sends her anyway. However, she seems to fade out of existence the moment she arrives. Back in the library, Dave's second shadow is gone. He complains that the lights are going out. The shadow has gotten inside his suit and he begins to convulse. It stops and he says he's fine. But he starts repeating himself. Dave is dead and ghosting, just like Evangelista. However, he's still standing, and he attacks the doctor with his skeleton spilling forward.
Oh my God, Jamie, it's Major Tom!
Our circuit's dead?
Well, something's wrong.
River shocks dead Dave, freeing the doctor. However, it begins growing shadows, and she vaporizes a hole in the wall for them to run through. In her home, the mysterious little girl tells her father, Donna Noble has been saved. The doctor's worried. The TARDIS didn't signal him that Donna arrived. He asks a node where Donna is and is horrified to see. The node has her face. Donna Noble has been saved.
That could mean anything. Has she found Jesus? Has she been sealed in a mylar bag with a backing board? Has her brain been downloaded into a giant computer? What?
Dave arrives and chases them into a dead end. River blasts open a new portal, and they run, with the little girl watching. Every time she changes the channel, she gets a new view of the library, except one channel shows a country estate where an ambulance is delivering Donna. She's visited by Dr. Moon, but doesn't remember him until he identifies himself. They walk through the garden, and he asks if she still dreams about the doctor, but Donna doesn't remember leaving her room and coming into the garden until again Dr. Moon tells her what happened. She meets Lee. He has a pronounced stutter and invites her fishing, although she's not really dressed for it. They get married and have twins. Dr. Moon visits. It's 7 years later, and she's come a long way. Although for a moment, Dr. Moon seems to fade out and turn into the doctor before turning back. But he tells her to forget it, and she does. The doctor and company arrive in a new portion of the library. Another chicken leg confirms Vashta Narada, while River assures her co-workers that she trusts the doctor implicitly. Something is interfering with his sonic, so River gives him a more advanced model. He demands to know, who is she? To prove she's someone he will one day trust, she whispers something in his ear. He's shocked, but he will trust her for now. He tries to figure out what's interfering with his screwdriver, but the only thing that's changed is the library's moon is overhead. Except it's not real. It's a Dr. Moon. It contains a computer that maintains and supports the computer at the planetary core. The Dr. Moon is communicating with someone in the library, and he temporarily summons an image of Donna, when Anita realizes she has two shadows. They tint her visor to hopefully fool the Vashta Narada, then asks River, if there are 5 people left alive in their group, then who's that? Proper Dave begins chasing them again as the little girl turns back into, everybody loves Donna. Lee is home, and she's not sure where Dr. Moon went when she catches sight of a stranger in a shroud.
Well, I'll be an enigmatic and faceless figure dressed in robes.
Oh, we're not back in the confession dial, are we?
Perhaps, Jamie, and if that's the case, we're going to spend the next 4 billion years here breaking free. It's either that or reveal our darkest, most disturbing confession. But, Jamie, at least we'll spend that 4 billion years together.
I think Colin Baker was a better doctor than Tom Baker! Haha, we're free!
If you don't mind, Jamie, I don't think I can look at you right now.
Time starts jumping for Donna again. The woman in black veils has left a message for Donna saying the world is wrong and asking to meet later. At the playground, she sees the woman. She explains, Donna didn't get the note last night, but moments ago, when she decided to come here, she found herself in the park. She explains that she's here to repay Donna's kindness. She's what's left of Miss Evangelista. The doctor tries to talk to the Vashta Narada. He gets it to communicate, and it explains the Vashta Narada were born in the library. Epiphany! The books were made from a forest that contained Vashta Narada. Other Dave repeats, we should go. Doctor. Once too often, he's also been eaten. They approach him, but the doctor hits a trapdoor and falls before catching himself and heading to safety. The playground is the easiest place to see through the deception. She remembers that Evangelista is dead, but everyone here is, even the kids. They're all Donna's, the same boy and girl over and over. Donna freaks out and pulls off the veil, causing the little girl to scream. River explains, she wished for the doctor to be here, but this is not her doctor. The one who knows her and could open a TARDIS with the snap of his fingers. Spoilers, the doctor is back. No Time Lord can open his TARDIS by just snapping his fingers. Anita still has two shadows. She asks, what did River whisper to the doctor to get him to trust her? He's reluctant to say, but she promises his secret is safe with her. This starts another eureka moment. The warning file said all those people had been saved, not that they were safe. Evangelista explains she's a copy of the original, a bad one. Monstrous face, brilliant intellect. By using images of the same children over and over, the computer is able to save room in cyberspace. The little girl is terrified. She mustn't tell this to Donna. The library's computer teleported everyone out when the Vashta Narada hatched. But it had nowhere to send them, so it's been saving them in its memory core. While Donna's body is stored as an energy pattern, her mind, and indeed the mind of everyone in the library who had been saved, has been kept content here in a virtual reality. She's a perfect copy, while Evangelista is a data ghost uploaded into the core. A number must have gotten copied wrong, and she's now smart enough to see the truth. Evangelista explains one word is at the heart of this illusion: kale. Donna's daughter skins her knee. Evangelista explains that the kids are only sustained by Donna's belief in them. Now that she knows the truth, they'll slip away. The girl is screaming at the TV. When her father asks what's wrong, she tells him to shut up and sends him into the cornfields with her remote. An alarm is going off in the library. The planet's auto-destruct will go off in 20 minutes, while in the virtual reality world, the skies have turned red. Mr. Lux explains that the Dr. Moon will maintain the planet, but the girl just makes him go away with her remote. River then opens a gravity well that takes them to the planetary core. Donna hugs her children close and then finds them in bed. The kids know they aren't real. When Mommy isn't around or even closes her eyes, they just stop. She promises to never close her eyes, but the children are already gone and all Donna can do is scream. The girl cries for help, and they hear her voices from the speakers. The doctor tries to get the index out of sleep mode, and around her, her toys are going off, but she still ignores them. Lux explains the computer is dreaming, or rather, the little girl at its heart is. He flips a switch and takes them into a secret room where the little girl's face is on a node. This is Cal, Charlotte Abigail Lux, his aunt. She was dying, and Lux's grandfather built the library to house her living mind. She can read any book ever written and live in any time period she wants to. When the Vasta Narada came, she saved everyone in the library, but it's been causing her mental issues that Dr. Moon has been trying to heal. They need to get everyone out of her mind so they can heal Kale and stop the self-destruct. The doctor knows he needs to free up space in her, so he'll hook his mind up to the computer. River is aghast. This will burn him out and he won't be able to regenerate, but he's not listening. Lux and River go off to make plans. Anita asks about the Vasta Narada. The doctor will make them an offer and they'd better take it because he's mad. He liked Anita, and they ate her alive. Sure enough, she's dead. He'll overlook it if they let the humans leave. Why? The library is their forest and humans are their prey. The doctor is not in the mood for this. He tells them to look him up in the books. He's bound to be in some of them. After a moment, the shadows retreat. The Vasta Narada will give humanity one day.
Now, I've put up with a lot from this episode. A planet-sized library, a woman from the doctor's future, a moon that sees to the medical needs of a planet that was clearly hired by an HMO. But this is too much! Are you asking me to believe that there's actually an alien race that listens to the doctor and doesn't force his hand? Well, that's too much, sir! It goes against every episode of Doctor Who I've ever seen! Colin Baker?
Oh. River turns and knocks out the doctor. He wakes up to see River hooking herself up to the library. The doctor tells her to stop. She won't survive this, but he has a chance. But that's a lie. Neither of them could survive this. She's a bit incredulous. This is their first meeting, so he's always known she was heading to the library to die. The last time she saw him, he just turned up out of the blue, took her on an amazing date, and she found him crying. He didn't say why, but he must have known she was going to die. That's why he gave her a sonic screwdriver. If he were to die, then she would never have met him. Time can be rewritten, but she won't have it. Not one moment of their time together must ever be undone. But it's okay. He's still got me and her to look forward to. All those times together that she had, he will one day have. She knew his name, but there's only one reason why she would know it. Spoilers. River Song hooks her mind up to the library. Lee rushes in. Everything is turning white and Donna explains the world isn't real. Is he? She thinks so and promises to find him. Lux is in the main foyer when the library is suddenly filled with people. They're all back! River is dead. As the population begins to get evacuated, Donna finds the doctor. There's no one named Lee here. She probably imagined him. Lee is there, however, but can't quite call out Donna's name in time because of his stutter and is teleported away. Donna is confused. Why didn't River know her? What happens to her? They could check her diary, but perhaps it's better not to know. They leave behind River's diary and screwdriver, except why? Why give her her own screwdriver, especially if future doctor knew she was about to die? He opens the screwdriver and sees that it contains the same sort of data port that the suits did. The doctor saved her. With time running out, he disables the gravity lift and drops down into the core. He somehow avoids getting squashed and inserts the screwdriver into the upload chair. River finds herself in the virtual reality world with Charlotte and Dr. Moon. This is now a good place, but, lest she be lonely, Charlotte has some friends for River. She sees all the dead crew alive and well. The doctor heads to his TARDIS, and with a snap of his fingers, the doors open. The doctor still visits her in this dream world. River has finished the story of the library. Her 3 children asleep. She turns out the lights.
That was a sweet ending, wasn't it, reviewer? Sweet it may be, Jamie, but it creates a bit of a temporal paradox for this review. How do you mean? Well, think about it. We're well past the 10th and 11th Doctor eras. River Song is a known character to us, a beloved companion in some of the best adventures of all time. And if that's the case, when you know and care about someone, their departure is bound to affect you more than if they were a complete stranger when they left. With that in mind, let's take a closer look at Silence in the Library, and Forest of the Dead.
Well, this was an unusual review for me, in that it's very much like time travel to revisit a character's first appearance after almost all their other appearances. Since that revolves around the character of River, we'll save her for last. The 10th Doctor and Donna was my favorite dynamic between Doctor and Companion until we eventually met the 11th and Amy. We finally get the Doctor Companion who was just as funny as he was, could hold her own against the most egotistical despots, and had as much heart as he could possibly want. However, aside from the opening half of the first episode, the Doctor and Donna never really spend much time together. This is often the case when a compelling supporting character is introduced. The companion gets shuffled off somewhere, so this new person can be the temporary companion to the Doctor. This story uses Donna to show us what happened to all those missing citizens in the library, how the VR world tries to make them happy, but can never quite cover up all the illusions and the narrative shortcuts that it's using. Although, frankly, I'm not sure we needed to see it. Wasn't it enough to tell us that these people were trapped in the computer? It seems like Donna was put in there just so we could watch her suffer, and it's a bit cruel if you think about it that way. David Tennant is in fine form here. He does his usual balancing act between outraged moralist and flippant ne'er-do-well. But he gets to add to his normal repertoire by dropping in some suspicion, uncertainty, and even disbelief with River. She's so at ease with him when he doesn't have a clue to who she is, and for once, it's the Doctor who doesn't know everything, and it puts him off his game at times. By the end, I won't say the Doctor was in love with her yet, but he was definitely saddened by her passing. The aliens? Meh. I'm all for an invisible menace, but you have to pay it off at some point, and you'll need to do better than instant skeleton. Although admittedly, Evangelista's ghost scene was heartbreaking and one of Catherine Tate's best moments on the show. Speaking of Miss Evangelista, she may have been a bit of a space bimbo, but she was the only memorable member of the supporting cast, the only one with any character. Lux, Anita, the Daves are also bland. Anyway, Evangelista's only real use in the story was to be the sacrificial lamb who warns the characters about the danger of the Vasta Narada, and then explaining to Donna where she was. Colin Salmon as Dr. Moon had a certain amount of gravitas and played his character well. As for Cal, played by Eve Newton, she was one of the better mysteries in the show's history. Who is she? What's her connection to the library? Why is her doctor also in Donna's virtual reality world? It's slowly played out, but we don't get a solid answer as to who or what she is until the latter half of the second episode. I thought the story itself was a little long. I felt like that might be one of the reasons for sticking Donna in the VR world. Perhaps Stephen Moffat had too much story to fit into one episode, and rather than cut anything, decided to expand it to two? Just a guess. And so finally, let's talk about River Song. This was an intriguing first look at a person who would be a very important character in Doctor Who history. Although we don't know it yet, many of us were left wondering if this was a one-off appearance by Alex Kingston, or would we ever really see River again? Well, to date, with the Husbands of River Song, we've had 11 stories, many of them two-part episodes, and that's not counting DVD exclusive appearances or her new audio series at Big Finish, The Diary of River Song. But there were no guarantees at this time. At the time, we didn't know everything. Some of us suspected she might be the Doctor's wife, but it wasn't made clear until the wedding of River Song. Here she's in the unusual position of having knowledge that the Doctor doesn't. For once, someone else has to stop him from damaging his own time stream. Her death scene is powerful. The line she gives the Doctor about their relationship being in his future comes off as a bit panicked that you have to wonder if she's saying it as much to remind herself of the wonderful life they've had in order to calm herself down. She's about to die, but in some ways this amazing partnership from her past is still going to happen in the Doctor's future. When I first saw this two-parter, I was left with nothing but questions. Now I've got some answers, and this becomes a sad farewell to an important supporting cast member of the Whoniverse.
Well, this is a very interesting episode in perspective. Then, we were left with this sense of incompletion over the Doctor's relationship with River and feeling sad because this interesting character had died. Now, we're sad because we've seen it from River's perspective. All those fun times with the Doctor are over. So does seeing it from this later perspective change your rating? Well, no, Jamie. You see, it's still, either way, a very interesting story, even though it got a bit dull and underwritten at times. I give Doctor Who Silence in the Library and Forest of the Dead 3 TARDISes out of 5. It was almost a 4, but it just didn't quite make it, and I can't do a half TARDIS because a half TARDIS would destroy space and time. What now, reviewer? Leave the Patreon system to give River a proper goodbye? Well, not quite, Jamie. Tell me, have you ever heard of the Last Angry Geek? Oh yeah, did he die centuries ago? No, Jamie, he's not dead, but many people think he's dead because he hasn't reviewed a comic in fucking half a year. We've been a little busy here at You Know Who and have been dominating his channel, I admit. So we're going to take a little hiatus. The Last Angry Geek will return to review some comic books and then we'll come back to review Husbands of River Song. Until that time, I'm the reviewer. This is my cameraman, Jamie. And this is You Know Who! Colin Baker?